welcome to Life After Divorce. I am your host, Chris, and actually episode 11, this is part 2 of communication where we started last week. And last week we were talking about, we ended with the universal, global, the you nevers or you always, and we're just actually going to start right there today. So we'll focus on the word you to begin with. We tend to bring that across with our, not only just our words, but with our body language as well, and make it more of an attack on somebody or a negative, and it doesn't go over well. It's never received well. So when you never do, you always do, what's wrong with you, why are you, will you ever, whatever the case may be, doesn't tend to go over real well. So avoid you messages as much as possible. Old history. Talk about setting a bonfire with your partner. Bring up old history. It's a great idea. It goes over really well. Not really. So with old history, whether it's a situation between us in our relationship now, or you really want to set the world on fire and bring up prior history from your old relationship, or I bring up prior history from my old relationship, it's not going to go well. It's going to be a long night because it ends up being a comparison to your current partner. So it's not going to go well. I can just give you a heads up on that. Whenever we're talking about a situation, and let's say that I left the the pots and pans on the stove dirty for the 15th time. When you bring that to me, watch it as, don't bring it up as a you, or don't bring it up as this is the 15th time that you've done this, or will you ever get this right, or why do you keep leaving them out? Because guess what? I can't go back and fix those prior 15 occurrences. All I can do is focus on the right here and now situation. And a lot of people struggle with that. It's human nature for me to think, going back to you always, you never, this is like the 15th time that you've done this. Like, we tend to keep track in our mind of things like that subconsciously, but we do. So even though the Jetsons thought, obviously by the year 2000, now we're in 2021, that we would all be flying cars. And while Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was really cool, I don't have a time machine. Hot Tub Time Machine, there's another one. Or even Back to the Future, another time machine. Those don't exist yet in real life. So I can't go back and fix something that happened, again, yesterday, 3 weeks ago, 3 years ago. So we get to focus on the situation we're dealing with today. And only that. We're not going to deal with a situation that happened prior. So the other thing to watch are threats. And when I'm saying threats, it's, if you don't do this, I'm out of here. We've all heard them. Most of us have said things like that before. Be careful of that, because you just might get for what you be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. Because if I say that and you're already feeling like you're in a rut or halfway out the door, I'm just pushing you away. I am literally just pushing you out the door at that point. So again, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it in a situation like that. Accepting responsibility, really, really big. Even if you don't think you're wrong in the moment, if you realize it an hour from now, 3 days from now, 3 months from now, it's really, really important that you own the responsibility to your partner, because it goes back to treat someone the way you want to be treated. I want to hear my partner own responsibility for things she did wrong. In turn, I need to be able to own things that I've done wrong and own that for her. As a society, we suck at owning bad and negative things. If something's in a negative light and I'm the one that caused it, or I screwed up, or I made a mistake, we tend to find ways to excuse it and not own the situation. It's gotta be a, hey, that's my fault, that's my bad, my apologies, I really wasn't thinking when I did that or said that, or whatever the situation is. Like, you get to own it. You don't have to, but you get to. All right. So the other thing that I would say, kind of from an avoiding, and then we'll move into some things to do, is avoid comparisons to your friends, their relationship. Why can't you do what she does? Why can't you act the way he does? Those are going to be long nights as well. So things to do. Ladies are going to love this to a degree. Sharing your descriptive feelings. Women are all over this. They don't check the box. They mastered how to share descriptive feelings. However, men, we tend to struggle with it. We fail in that area a lot because we don't share as much as women do. Now, caveat to this, ladies, Whew, here we go. Just because you want to drop a few subtle breadcrumbs along the way to get us to figure out what's wrong with you, it doesn't work. There was no college course on telepathy. We skipped out the day that they taught telepathy in high school. So men don't do well with trying to figure out what is wrong with you. Even when you think you're being so obvious, wrong, we don't know what's going on. All we see is you stomped through the room, you huffed and puffed, we said what's wrong, and what do women say? They say, nothing, I'm fine, or nothing, I'm fine, and walk off. Well, clearly there's a problem. Like, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed or the sharpest knife in the drawer, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that there's a problem. Oh, and then she slams the door. Perfect. Now, again, a guy is smart enough to figure out there's a problem. However, we're not smart enough to figure out what the problem is, even though you seem to think that it's always so obvious. Okay? So when we're sharing or being descriptive in our feelings, it can't just be the attitude, the action, out the door, slam the door, and then we're just supposed to understand what that meant. Like that's not going to work either. Now, guys, when they do open up, you got to be willing to listen, even when it's not fun, even if it's not something you want to hear, even if it's whatever the case may be, even if you're going to sit here for the next hour, you got to do it. You get to do it because that's what makes this relationship thing work. And oh, by the way, fellas, you get to share some feelings as well. And I know that it's softy, smudgy, blah, blah, blah. No, again, that's how this relationship thing works. So on the doing side, women tend to share and want to share their feelings. Us guys, we get to tool belt out. We're ready to go. We're ready to fix stuff. Like, babe, you got a problem? I'm here for you. Like, let's go. Feed me. I'm ready to fix it. It's not what they want. They want to be heard. Oftentimes, they just want you to listen and not respond. If I had $1 for every time I heard that one, I didn't want a response. I just wanted you to listen to me. Well, why didn't you say so? So, some takeaways here. 4 things to do with a conversation with your partner. And this will make some sense maybe now, but it'll make more sense the more you work at it. I see, I think, I feel, I want or need. And it's like, how does that make sense? So I see, I observe, I noticed the pots and pans are still out on the stove. I think that you've forgotten about it. I feel like because that's your duty, or I feel like you don't care because you're not getting it done, I need some help in the kitchen. That's just a rough example. But the problem is if I don't have all 4 of those, we don't have a conversation. Because if you miss or don't give 3 of those and you just give the I feel, or just the observation of there's those damn dishes and you still haven't gotten to them yet, that's your observation with some feeling, but there's still 2 things missing there. I'm going to fill in the blanks on the other 2 that are missing. Same thing goes for women to men and men to women. Like, this is not a male versus female thing at this point. Open dialogue is 4 pieces. I see, I think, I feel, I need, or I want. Because from a male perspective, if you're sharing feelings with me, my response needs to be, what do you need from me, or what can I do to help? Okay? And then women, you need to be open and honest about what are those things. So it's just, again, it's a delicate balance, and oftentimes that much off just derails the whole ship, and it ends up in a rough night for both of us. So think about these things as you're working together with your partner. I'm going to stop there for today. Appreciate all the feedback. I appreciate the shares on Facebook and YouTube and the likes as well. Keep the comments coming. I love it. If you got a question, send me an email here below. In the meantime, again, look forward to talking with you next week. Have yourself a great day and a blessed week. Take care.